Building one PC is no problem, but 26? That takes some planning. In this video, I'll show you how I manage this project from start to finish so you can be better prepared when you are called on to manage a huge project. Welcome to Extra Techie, where we learn to tech and use tech to learn. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like the video. It helps grow the channel. Some background here, my name was floated out there to a school who is developing a lab to run the Unreal Engine. Quite simply, they are involved with a third party who advised them on building custom PCs. The job was to build 26 PCs using the parts they bought. Without question, I wanted this challenge. Before finalizing, I needed to know the scope of the work. Was it just building? Was there software installs needed? After negotiating, the final workload would be build the PCs and load the software, Windows 11 Pro and Unreal Engine, and deliver the PCs to their final destination. Phase 1. Box Management. I want you to imagine every Amazon box that has come to your house, then multiply it by 26. When I arrived on site to pick up the equipment, I had a moment of panic that the boxes would not fit in the Vandalorian. With some luck and skill at playing Tetris all my life, we got all of the equipment loaded into the van. This was a nerve-wracking 50-minute ride back to the workshop. And by workshop, I mean my basement. Carefully, we had to unload the boxes into this area. We needed to make sure all boxes were accessible. Finally, we got all of the boxes unloaded, and boy, howdy is there an overwhelming amount. Phase 2. Build the first one. Knowing I have 26 PCs to build, the most important build would be the first one. While building the OG, I really took my time to figure out the pros and cons of how I would go about installing all the parts. In the end, the first build took around 2 hours of carefully planned movements. Once the build was done, I wanted to load the software, Windows 11 Pro, updates, Chrome, Epic Games Launcher, and finally the Unreal Engine. So I have a source image. Later on, we will copy this image to the other drives. Once our software is where it needs to be, the next phase can start. Phase 3. Non-assembly line. I chose to tackle each computer separately instead of using an assembly line approach. I chose against this due to room size. I didn't have enough and fear of making a mistake. I wanted to lock in on each PC as it was built. Rinse and repeat, we had to. Ready the case by removing some brackets, install the Mobo I/O shield, ready the motherboard by installing the CPU, the third-party cooler, and the memory, skipping the M.2 for now, and installing the motherboard into the case. With each build, I got a little faster and more efficient. For example, I started plugging in the front panel case buttons while the motherboard was still uninstalled from the case. This shaved off precious minutes. To sum, each build took about 40 minutes, plus or minus a few seconds here. After about 9 were complete, I changed gears back to software install. Phase 4, Attack of the Clones. Part of the job is ensuring software is installed onto the machines, but time is money, and using time wisely is key. Enter Clonezilla, a handy-dandy utility that runs from a flash drive and essentially copies one M.2 to another. Once we got this system up and running, I had 3 different machines copying 3 different M.2 images. Funny enough, the cloning took about 40 minutes as well. As clones completed, I would get the next batch ready. This was more like an assembly line now. As more and more M.2s were copied, we entered the final couple of phases. Phase 5. Push through. At this point of the project, it is about day 9 and mental fatigue is setting in. The repeating tasks of installing parts is starting to wane on me. But luckily we added a step to this process to keep it fresh. With our newly installed M.2s, I could start testing each machine to ensure proper boot and load of the OS. Most machines passed with ease, while others gave a hiccup, but then passed as well. As a computer passed its test, we packed it into its original box and stored it into another room. Phase 6. Revenge of the Boxes. The amount of boxes opened and stacked in the basement started to get overwhelming. After each build, we had to organize our area as we went. Cleaning up as the project is happening is an underrated task. Make sure you do it. Phase 7, the final build montage. Here is just some footage of the actual build taking place from start to finish. And after this, we'll finish up the project. Phase 8 meets delivery and follow-ups. Before delivery, I hopped on a call with the team to brief them on the PCs. After about 20 minutes, everyone felt great about the project. On delivery day, I had to reload the van, which was quite the workout, and of course, it was raining. Keeping in contact with the technician on site, I helped to move the PCs from the van to the storage room. I chatted with the technician on site, exchanged contact information, met with the client who hired me, said my thanks, and departed. Driving back home, I reflected on the process. The final phase, reflection. Taking on a project like this was a huge risk. Working alone, under time constraints, and at one point with a broken finger created huge pockets of stress at times. Luckily, parts were delayed, and as luck would have it, I healed and regained strength in my hand just in time to start the project. Through transparent and constant communication with the client, most issues can be resolved. Now, I hope you found this video educational as you build up your confidence in managing a large-scale project. Remember, nothing ever goes to plan, so make sure you can be flexible during the process. This is Sean of Extra Techie, and we hope that you enjoyed this video, and don't ever forget to like and subscribe, because when you learn to tech, you use tech to learn. We'll see you on the other side.